What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T-Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So before we get into the Riot news today, I have a quick announcement. I'd like to use this time to give a massive shout out to viewer Kalayaan23. They have been a long-time supporter of the channel, and now the very first Super Thanks user. Super Thanks is the new channel feature unlock and is available on every single video. It allows you, the viewer, an opportunity to show further appreciation for my content and provide me a little extra support. In the coming days, I'll post a bit more details around Super Thanks and the value they bring not just to me, but also to you, the viewer. With that said, Kalayaan23, thank you so much for the support. It means a ton to me. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Riot stock. Earlier this week, Riot Platform reported its earning results for Q1 2024. The stock closed the week at $10.42 for a weekly loss of 12.66%. And so the question is, what happened? Were the results actually that bad? And so in today's video, I'll go over a quick overview of the current results and what stood out to me, then take a look at the current analyst consensus post-earnings, and I'll close with what I'm personally doing as far as buying, holding, or selling. As always, this is not to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and the thought process behind it. I'd recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on anything pertinent I'll be sharing. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. The price of Bitcoin has experienced some volatility since the halving event on April 20th. Bitcoin went into the halving at around $64,000 and since then has fallen as low as $56,000 before essentially recovering to where we were at the time of the halving. A few weeks back when we spoke, here's what I told you for my prediction on the Riot Platform Q1 2024 earning results. Take a listen. And let's not forget that they delivered a pretty significant beat on expectations during the Q4 of 2023 earning call. The price of Bitcoin has risen over 30% since the year has started. And I'd say that another profitable quarter is in the making with a likely beat on expectations, especially if you look at the current projections that currently show a negative quarter. So I think we're in for an upside surprise here. The results are now in, and Riot Platform delivered a significant beat on expectations, right? Projections were for an earning per share or EPS loss of 20 cents. Instead, they posted a surprise profit of 82 cents. This is big, right? When I look at the details, a few things stand out to me. Revenue came in at $79.3 million for a year-over-year increase of 65%. They did note here that the primary driver for the revenue improvement was due to the increase in the Bitcoin price, 131% to be exact, compared to this time last year. Hash rate improved 18% year-over-year, and that's thanks to their newest Corsicana facility coming online. We are already starting to see the benefit of this new factory now at play. Remember that the goal is to increase the hash rate to 31.5 exahash by the end of this year. That would represent a 154% improvement in their compute power, allowing them to overcome the setback in Bitcoin production that they're having created. Gross margin is another bright area. Despite the instant increase in the cost to mine Bitcoin, that cost is now $23,034 to mine a single Bitcoin post-halving. They still manage a gross margin of 52%, up from 32% at the end of last year. Their financial position, looking at the balance sheet, looks super strong as well. $688 million in cash. They also hold 8,490 Bitcoin, equivalent to anywhere between $500 to $600 million based on the current price fluctuation of Bitcoin. But equally as important, they hold zero debt. All of their current planned growth is self-funded from either the sale of Bitcoin, revenue they generate from their mining operation, or stock offerings. Now, if you remember, they leveraged the strong stock price of nearly $18 back in February to set up an at-the-market share offering. The maximum amount they can raise from that is $750 million. The stock price then fell on the news, right? So we all saw that big drop in price. But they were still able to raise around $350 million with shares issued at $13.50. And throughout the month of April, they raised another $154.1 million in shares issued at $10.63. And so the bottom line here is this. All in all, Riot Platform Q1 performance was pretty solid despite the Bitcoin halving and Bitcoin network difficulty increase. The main thing weighing down the stock at this point is the large amount of shares that have been introduced onto the market over the past couple of months. Riot Platform still has the option to raise another $240 million or so through the already approved stock offering agreement. Something to keep in mind as you evaluate what your next move should be. My personal thoughts on this in just a moment. Now, what's interesting though when it comes to Riot Platform is that analysts covering the stock were already bullish before these earning results dropped, and that sentiment has not changed after this solid beat on expectations. We have a consensus rating of a strong buy with the following breakdown. That's 10 buy ratings, 0 hold, and 0 sell ratings. I mean, it really does not get any more clear than this, right? Now, of course, this doesn't mean that the stock moons tomorrow, but it does mean that they all fully expect the upside that is projected to actually come. The high end of the range is unchanged at $25.50. The low end of the range stayed steady at $15.50. It's important to note here that even hitting the low end of the range would be a plus given the current stock price. The average consensus price target is also unmoved at $19.65, and hitting this mark from the current level represents an 88.58% increase and well over double when we reach the top end of the range. And so as far as I'm concerned, it's not a matter of if we reach these prices, but rather when we return to these prices. And so with that in mind, how am I thinking about the Riot stock? Am I a buyer? Am I a seller? Or am I just holding? While it is true that Riot Platform could and is very likely to further dilute the stock by adding another $240 million worth of shares into the supply at some point over the coming months, my guess is that they will do so by the end of this year. There is a growing demand for Bitcoin spot ETF products. As an example, earlier this week, the first Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs in Asia were approved in Hong Kong. That's a major milestone to be celebrated, right? When you think about the growing interest, it means that eventually the demand side will outstrip the available supply. Remember that historically, the price of Bitcoin climbs significantly higher going out a year post the halving event. I've showed this stat before, but it's certainly worth showing again. And so despite the fact that Riot Platform will more than likely further dilute the stock when it shows strength this year, the expected improvement in revenue generated from the price of Bitcoin increasing will more than likely make up for it. And for that reason, I believe that the stock price in the coming year will reach at least the current top of the projected range. I fully expect that Riot Platform will continue to beat expectations over the coming quarters. The bar for Q2 is set pretty low at the moment. Expectations are again for a negative quarter, which is interesting to me. But because I fully foresee the stock price increasing over the coming months, being a seller here just doesn't feel right. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not selling. I'm also not a buyer at the moment. The reason here is much more straightforward. I'm simply tapped out on capital. That said, I do plan to roll whatever I'm able to raise from the channel to continue funding my investment journey. And so really the only choice I'm left with at the moment is simply holding my current position. The bottom line, and really the last thing that I will say is this. While the current dilution and fear of further dilution may add pressure to the stock price, it is only temporary in my opinion. The company performance and amount of Bitcoin mined will steadily improve as the year goes on. Should Riot beat on expectations for the remainder of the year, as I suspect they will, analysts will have no choice but to raise their own estimates, which should further boost sentiment and serve as a catalyst. Within the coming 6 to 12 months, Bitcoin is very likely to hit a new all-time high in the six-figure range. And I do believe that the Riot stock will follow suit by matching or eclipsing its own previous all-time high. With that in mind, this lower stock price of $10 and some change therefore represents a solid opportunity. That's how I see it. But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click the like button and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. And if you feel so inclined, use the super thanks. For my newcomers, subscribe, it's free, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video and possibly during the week for an extra one. Till then, you can keep up with me here on X for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.